So bro, just want to share this moment. Fucking beautiful. Like, this forest is like overgrown as hell. Focus. So overgrown, but like, I used to come down here all the time, so I've got to do it for old time's sake. Holy shit, this is even worse. Okay, today I'm talking about the power of perception and how, holy shit, how delusion keeps you in your bad habits and your vicious cycles that ultimately you know are holding you back from like achieving things, whether that's achieving things fitness wise, in terms of like building a business, or in terms of just building habits and better habits. And I'll give you a bit of my own story. Is I tried to quit porn for like 4 years. It took me 4 years to finally kick it, right? And the main thing that I realized, okay, that's way too overgrown. My legs. That's not what I realized. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm wearing shorts and these nettles are gonna kill me. So I'm just gonna chill here. The main thing I realized was the reason I'm still doing this and still like self-harming practically, because that's what it is, right? You're doing something that you want to quit, but part of you is still wanting to do that, and it's because of delusion. That's the reason you still do these terrible habits and sabotage your own life. It's because your human brain is smart. It is extremely smart, and it evolved in a time where we didn't have these sort of things. We didn't have infinite novelty to like sex, basically. We didn't have that kind of novelty back then. We didn't have the abundance of fast food and junk food. It was, you go out in the morning, you forage and hunt, and that's how you know, get the biochemical, like the hormones and stuff released in your brain to create reward systems and like a positive feedback loop. And where was I with this? So your brain is incredibly smart, and it really wants you to continue doing this habit. And your addicted mind, so like the emotional mind, the amygdala, it will trick your logical mind. It'll basically use that smart part of your mind, the prefrontal cortex. It'll use that, and it will create rationalizations. It'll create bullshit. And if you have any doubt in your mind, and if you're at all convinced by these rationalizations, then you will ultimately relapse, go back to the old habits. Probably most people watching this video, it's put along the lines of porn, or, you know, eating terrible food, something like that. Wasting time and not being incredibly productive and purposeful is a different topic. But the main reason why we slip into these old habits is because of delusion. We are deluding ourselves of these things, and the way to set yourself free from never doing these habits again is fully and like 100% convincing yourself. You don't need to convince yourself. You just need to open your mind to the fact that how in the hell is an addiction going to have any benefit in my life? These rationalizations are all lies. That is what you got to realize. And they might seem true, like, oh, but I like pleasure every now and then. If you think back to the last time you did that habit, you didn't enjoy yourself because you were too caught up in thinking about how shit you're going to feel afterwards. Maybe you had a realization that, you know, when you go into like third person perspective and just imagine what you look like outside your body. Maybe you did that, because that's what one of the last times I ever used porn was, I went outside my body, I looked at myself, and then I looked at myself repeating that for like 30 more years, and I was like, bro, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. And the beautiful thing about using this method of actively unwinding that brainwashing slowly and slowly is that you don't actually have to try and use willpower. Because why would you need to use willpower when you're 100% out of that addiction? You're 100% out of that delusion. You don't need to use willpower to believe that grass is green. You don't need to use willpower to say, oh, I probably shouldn't use heroin tomorrow. You don't need to use willpower because you know how inherently bad it is for you. You need to view porn like it's a drug, because it is. It's essentially a drug. You need to avoid whatever it is like it's destroying your life, because if you want to quit it, it likely is. It likely is. So that's the number one thing, is delusion. And you have to be patient with this brainwashing. You can't use willpower and expect yourself to just change overnight, change your beliefs overnight, because that's not how it works. Even if you manage to quit porn for 90 days, perfect streak, nothing at all, through the use of willpower, you're just like a god with your willpower, you're likely going to end up peaking, going back to it. It's just how it works, because you still have them beliefs that think, oh, I'm no longer addicted anymore, so one peak would actually be beneficial. Like, your mind somewhere in there believes that it will be beneficial for your life in any shape or form. And that's why you return to the bad habit. Man, it's so simple. If I knew this 3 or 4 years ago, I don't want to dwell in the past, but if I knew this 3 or 4 years ago, I would be living life right now. I'd be loving life. And I am right now. Don't get me wrong. I do love my life. And, you know, every day gets better the longer you are away from your, like, addiction. Every day gets better, but I could just imagine the amount of progress I would have made in my life if I understood this. And that's why I'm talking to you. I want you to use this information and not just click off this fucking YouTube video and click onto the next one without actually internalizing this message, without, I don't know, not to be like weird about it, but like making notes. Like, each video, there is a personal experience behind that, and we all just mindlessly watch YouTube videos like it's a normal thing. It's very strange. Could you imagine if you walked around, you just walked around the world and just stood there and listened to conversations of, you know, people that are likely going to be intelligent, that are further in front of the path of you, like as you, further in front of you, you listen to a conversation for 5 minutes and then you just click off. You don't actually absorb any of that information. That's essentially what you're doing when you're watching YouTube videos. You're in a passive conversation and you're not taking action on it, because it's a passive, watching videos is an inherently passive activity. Then you need to create the action, okay? I just told you everything you need to do, bro. You need to get your journal out and you need to write about this fucking addiction. I will recommend go to easypeasymethod.org if you're trying to quit porn and you want to quit it forever. You go on there. I'm going to make more videos about this, like, method and the advantages and disadvantages of it, because there have been some things where it's not really addressed in the book, and I am in the midst of making my own, like, quitting addictions book. I'm like 1,000 or something words in, and I don't know how long it's going to be. It's probably going to be about 10 chapters long, and I'll probably make an audiobook version of it as well, just me speaking through a camera, microphone, not a camera. Yeah, man, I'm getting itchy as fuck. Like, the insects here are crazy. Insects, the nettles. Let's have a look at the fucking legs. Mine, the dead calves, but holy shit. Yeah, I'm getting itchy as fuck. So, let's go. Big gains. Fucking kick this shit out of your life, bruv. I know you can. I used to be the guy that believed that he couldn't, and that he was just different to everyone else. That's not true. You're not different. You're not special in any way, in a negative way or a good way. We are all of the same DNA, essentially. Not exactly, but kind of, sort of. So you gotta get fucking out there, bro. You gotta make the most of this life, of this beauty. Like this evening, for example, I was in my room and I was just watching shitty YouTube videos, like I was talking about earlier, like wasting my time. And I was like, how do I make this day infinitely better? It's a blue sky in the park, and I was like, I'm gonna walk in the park, I'm gonna walk in the forest. It's quite windy, so I didn't want to make a video in the field, so I'd come where there's some cover and not people around. So I'd come in here, make the videos, and make my days already 10 times better, because I've done this rather than watching shitty YouTube videos. I wouldn't even took action on anyway. I can't talk today. My legs are so itchy, I'm getting out of this forest. All right, have a good one.